Woo!
Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to be here tonight. I have a dear friend who is actually a cousin in a sense, because my husband's cousin, my husband's cousin is her husband. So, very weird story, I know. But Tori Gallagher here is with us from Galley Curated, and I am so excited to have you, Tori. Welcome. If you want to say hi to everyone.
Hi! I'm so sorry if there was a double audio there. That was totally my fault because I had the YouTube link pulled up. And so it was like I'm like playing on the background. So I apologize for that. But
Totally fine. We
yes, yeah,
have a
I'm
few
excited
guests
to
with us
be here.
tonight. We've got Melanie. Thank you for joining us, Melanie. We're excited to have you. Tonight's show is going to be a little bit different. So, Tori will tell us her story. She is reselling, but she takes it from a different angle than I'm used to. I thrift my goods through thrift stores, yard sales, estate sales, kind of one-off items. Occasionally I'll do a bulk buy, but generally it's just one-off items. Depending if they're valuable, I'll buy it and sell it. That's kind of the traditional reselling model. Tori has taken more of a liquidation model, and I'm anxious to hear all about it and how this got started and how you plan to grow this awesome company of yours. So, Tori, if you could just
Yes.
tell us kind of a little bit about Galley Curated and how you got started.
Yes, perfect. I'm gonna let the cat out of the office real quick because
Oh
she
man,
must
leave
have
the cat
snuck
in.
in here. She must have snuck in here, and I will be totally distracted with her like meowing and then pawing at the door the whole time.
Oh,
And
funny.
so I had to let her out. I don't know if you could hear it, but I couldn't. My brain just wouldn't have been able to handle it. Yeah. So I'm Tori, and my husband and I have started purchasing pallets of liquidated items. Um, we actually, one of my good friends brought this idea to us probably, oh my gosh, well, time is like, what is time, right? Like I can't even keep track of time like with kids, but it has been, I would say, well over a year and a half of this idea kind of in the back of our head. And we have an 8 month old. Prior to that, we were remodeling our house, and right before we started remodeling, we actually had a miscarriage, and so it was never really like we had this idea of something that we wanted to do, but it never really felt like the right time. So we finally decided to pull the trigger and get started this year. And so it's been a lot of fun. We purchased pallets of liquidated items. So a lot of them are returns. You can also get shelf pulls, but what we specifically picked were returns. And we got ours from Wayfair, and we were so excited. So one thing that's interesting about doing the reselling business from this perspective is you are getting returned items, right?
Mhm.
So one like unique aspect that Sean and I were excited about, which is why our friend brought it to us. We're very hands on. And so if you get something that you need to fix, or you need to, like there's a missing part and now you've got
Mhm.
to find the missing part and put it together. That's something that we have a knack for, we have a natural skill set for. So it's been exciting to apply that. So for
Mhm.
example, like right next to me, my armrest currently is an air purifier where the power cord, we needed to replace the power cord. And so just kind of getting to use the natural skill set of ours. um, do you want me to talk about kind of like the social media side of it
Yeah,
too?
absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
anything you want to share. How did you know to start with Wayfair? Like, I know people do Amazon
Yeah.
returns and they'll do Target, or I don't know if even Walmart does it, but they'll do other box
Yeah.
stores. What made you choose the Wayfair route?
Wayfair
And
one.
how did you
Okay.
find the Wayfair route? I feel
Yeah,
like these
yeah,
are
yeah.
lost
Okay.
weights that no one knows.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually initially, like, to get started with liquidating pallets, we actually started with selling stuff in our basement on Facebook Marketplace. To first, like, like get the money to be able to purchase a pallet. Now
That's the
there is,
smartest way to get starting in any reselling business is
yes,
clearing
because
out and
then,
making money off your own.
yeah, exactly. Well, and then we created space, right? And then I am a stay-at-home mom, and so, like we definitely wanted to take caution with how much money that we were putting into it.
Mm-hmm.
And and so this was our, the best way for us to be able to approach it. So we started with that. You can find warehouses that sell pallets or liquidation businesses local to you. And
Mm-hmm.
so we knew of a couple in Kansas City that we kind of like went to a few times, checked them out, and got eyes on it. Amazon pallets, like what you said, Amazon pallets are very popular.
Yeah.
And so you can find Amazon pallets easily. What we didn't like personally, just getting started, so this
Mm-hmm.
is a new adventure for us. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, and so we're not like, we're trying not to niche ourselves yet, we're just kind of trying different things and seeing how it goes. What made us nervous about the Amazon pallets when you get your eyes on it is how many boxes do you receive in an Amazon box and you have no idea what's in it, right?
Right.
And so,
And people scam. So you're going to end up probably 50% junk that
yeah,
someone said that this vacuum didn't work and they mailed you back your 10-year-old vacuum because Amazon's
right,
not going to check it. So
they're
they
not
just
going to
take your
check
word
it.
and
Yeah,
yep.
and they take everything back, right? And
Yep.
so, you might get lucky. I mean, we personally have returned items on Amazon in perfect returned condition. We did
Right.
purchase one Amazon pallet, and we got some good stuff out of it, but yeah, it was about a 50%, about half of it was not
Mm-hmm.
that great. And so, so for us right now, Amazon's just not a route that we're going. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because for me, I wanted to see what was on it. I wanted to know what was on it. And it made me very nervous when we saw pallets and you just see these boxes like Amazon, and like you can't even, you have no idea what it
True.
is.
And so
And
the Wayfair ones are more, you see the box of the item traditionally.
yeah. Yeah, okay, so what we did is we went to a place here in Kansas City, and we checked out their pallets. That's where they had the Amazon pallets. We just didn't really love them. And so we actually went to a liquidation site online to purchase our Wayfair pallets. And yeah, and so depending on when like you get into it, you can get manifested pallets or like unmanifested. So manifested pallets come with a list of everything that's in it with the retail value. um and so I personally like really liked that because I liked knowing like what we were
Right.
getting. We did have to like double check price point. Sometimes the price was listed on the manifested list like too high.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was listed too low, which we were like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
like like when
Right.
it's like accidentally like, oh, that's actually what it was on sale for.
Right.
And so yeah, and what's been interesting is even like the manifested list was not 100% accurate.
Yeah.
um and I think and again, we're new at this, so I think that you can actually like, we could have reached out to them and said, hey, like we should have had this, or something was changed, but we're kind of
Mm-hmm.
like going at this. I mean, we didn't dive into the three palettes like at once and like check everything off the list, so we kind of, I don't,
Yeah.
we just didn't really look into
Live
that
and
side
learn.
of it.
That's
But
that's
yeah.
all of it. And now you can take the notes from that last palette and apply it to the next. Is it auction style, or you can just go in and see an invoice and
So it
purchase
is
it?
auction style. It is auction style. So then we had like a because okay, so again, like I'm a planner. So I like to have my plan, especially
Yep.
if I'm spending my money. And so I had this whole like I am a huge like Google Drive user. So I had a Google
Mm-hmm.
Sheet, and where I like had all the formulas in there for this is what the retail value is. if we could sell, like the goal would be 60% retail, this is what our profit would be. This is how much, like basically I just like capped it, like this is how much we're willing to spend, this is our wiggle room, this is shipping. And I like went through, and so we would go through, and if this is something that you're interested in, I would definitely like recommend doing that, just because we would go through and you'd look at a set of palettes and we'd be like, dang, like that's a really good deal, like, you know, and you kind of get excited, and then we start plugging the numbers into our sheet, and it's like, oh dang, like we'll make $100 like, you know,
and
like
10 hours of work going through this palette.
Yes, hours of work, like make $100, like, you know. And so they're definitely that was a huge help for us. And then some of our other items too, I'm like, now I'm like, bing, next thing. But some of our other items too, like there's a local, I'm in Kansas City, and there's a local auction house. And so we would monitor that as well, for like individual items. So that's not a palette, but we would just kind of like look for individual items that we might want to include in our inventory. And again, plugging it into the
I think you
sheet,
have to go prepared for it, because if you're getting into the hype of the auction, I can see that just being a high in itself. And if everyone's bidding, and you're like, okay, I'll do $5,000, but then you didn't realize you just paid $5,000 for a $4,000 palette. So you've got to plan ahead. And if you've already done your research and you know what's in that, or roughly what's in that palette, you can calculate. So I can see that definitely being just exciting to be able to plan it and be like, okay, that's the one we want. We can't go over X dollar amount, and just to be prepared so you don't get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, and it was a little bit too fun at times, you know. It's like so exciting being on there, but I was very happy that we had that formula to fall back on, just to kind of keep ourselves in check, because like you said, you can kind of get lost in the moment and get excited with it. So
absolutely. So there's a show, I'm trying to search for it right now. I found it, I want to say A&E, or not HGTV. It was one of the Discovery Channel, A&E, one of those, and it was resellers that did a lot of palettes, and it's like or something. I gotta find it. I binge watched it on Hulu one time, and what's funny is there was a couple couples that are big on YouTube, and I had followed them just on YouTube before, like Stephanie and whatever her husband's name was. Okay, I'm gonna butcher these names, but there were a bunch of famous YouTubers on there, and they were doing competitions with these palettes, and one was buying the manifested list, and he was thinking, okay, this is going to be a $10,000 palette, because they listed some kind of sunglasses that were supposed to be worth like $1,000 a piece. So they're digging in this palette, and these sunglasses, they were put in wrong, and it was like a version of something that was worth like 50 cents. And they put it in different brand, and they thought they were going to make a killing, and they didn't.
Oh no.
So definitely a fail, but
that would
if you
be
can get a pretty accurate list, that's
we
even better.
were pretty lucky. You know, we opened a couple boxes and we're like, oh, like this wasn't supposed to be in here, but it was good stuff, you know, so we were excited about it. Like I said, we had a couple things that were like priced incorrectly, but it really like balanced out, because I'm sure what they do is they go through and they scan it to create that list. And so sometimes those items were like on a sale price already. You know, and so for us, like we price it off of like that sale price, you know. But yeah, so I mean, we got pretty lucky with that. But I will say, like, there was a lot of back end work on that, you know. So even, you know, you could get the manifested list before, and so then we have the whole manifested list, and we're searching every item, whatever we could find, we're linking it to the Google search that pops up, you know, making sure. Now there's no pictures or anything, so you're going just off of the description on the manifested list, you know, and hoping
that it could be missing a power cord, like your air purifier, or legs of a chair, or whatever.
Exactly. Actually, this office chair was off an Amazon pallet, and it didn't, like, oh my gosh. Okay, so this was whew, this was a pretty hilarious moment. So Sean and I can be a bit of procrastinators. And so, like we're getting excited, like we're getting ready to do our drop and I'm like, okay, like let's just make sure, like let's get eyes on everything. Like I just want to recheck. I just want to like recheck. I'm so nervous, all this stuff going out. Like, and so he's like double checking the chair, right? And like, okay, the wheels are working, everything's good. And I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, where are the arms? And I'm like, and Sean's like, oh, and so they were like double checking the box, and he's like, and I'm like, there are no arms to the chair. So, anyways, I got a new office chair because
There's no arms.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's kind of like we probably could have sold it, but I don't know. I just was like, I don't really want to sell a chair and be like, the arms are missing.
Right. Just
But
call it a tax chair or whatever it's called where it doesn't have the arms.
I know. I mean,
That
I
works.
don't notice a difference. So
Yeah.
yeah. So it was pretty funny.
How funny. So I found that show and it's called Extreme Unboxing.
Okay.
And the YouTuber that I do know, well, I follow, Steve and Steph, they were, I first found them, they were digging in dumpsters for old gift cards. I think that was the first video of them I found. They were dumpster diving in the back of some big box store and taking all these used gift cards and finding out if there was actual value on them. Like the amount of time they had to spend looking up each of these gift cards probably wasn't worth it.
Oh my gosh,
But
I can
yeah, it's on
imagine.
A&E and all the shows. I think they were on Hulu. And Paul and Heather, that's Hooked on Picking or Hooked on something. Um, and it was funny. And that this guy Chuck and Chris, I'm sure they're YouTubers too, but those were the guys that found those sunglasses that were not what they thought they were. But it's funny to see. It's basically what you do with these liquidation and these pallets, but at just such a wide range. Because a lot of them, they have
Mhm.
storefronts, they have places to put
Yeah.
this, like just ridiculous storage. That's never an issue. But let's
Yeah,
take
so
a
big
question real
dream.
quick.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the big dream. The big dream would be eventually to be able to open up a warehouse that people could shop in, and have
Hmm.
like some type of storefront. That would be the big
Yeah.
dream down the
There's
road.
been one actually down here in Southern Arizona that they did that. They bought all these pallets, and then at Christmas time, I went in there and I did so much Christmas shopping because
It,
there was some really good stuff. Like,
mhm.
I don't know if she's listening right now, but there were some really big things that she got for Christmas. And they were like $15, $20 at this store when on Amazon they're $100.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was awesome. They went under. I'm sure that just the cost of holding a store like that, they had to shut it down. But
yeah.
Linda Phillip has a question with Wayfair and how big everything is. How do you handle shipping?
So we currently are not shipping. So we are doing local pickup. Fortunately for us, like we're in a large metropolitan area, so we are located like just south of Kansas City, like 20 miles south of KC. And so we are doing local pickup. Currently, we
Mhm.
eventually like we do want to offer shipping eventually, but right now it's just kind of like one step at a time. That's what I have to like
Yep.
remind myself sometimes. It's hard to do. Um, but
Gotta walk
like
before you run. And yeah, I
yeah.
think with shipping something that big, if your competition is Wayfair and Amazon that does free shipping, how do you
Mhm.
compete with that?
Yeah,
Because free shipping would be $100 for you to ship this giant box. You can't offer
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
And who's going to want
Yeah,
to pay $100 to ship this giant box?
exactly. Like I might take so like this is like a box that we get. So this is like a crystal pendant light. So
Oh, that.
eventually like we might do is like take, this is a smaller box, easier to ship.
Mm-hmm.
But shipping, I mean, it's a big time like time it takes up a lot of time.
Yep. And
And
space.
so
Trying to keep all the supplies and the
yeah,
boxes and
yeah. And so like right now it's just yeah, we just haven't tackled that beast yet. I imagine that we'll kind of add that on maybe this summer or come August. Right now, so with my schedule, right? So Moms Who Resell. So just kind of like chat about my schedule. So I actually have a almost 6-year-old doing part-time preschool Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I have an almost 4-year-old doing part-time preschool Monday through Thursday from 8:20 to 11:20. So he's in the morning. And then I have an 8-month-old. So we have like our schedules are everywhere. One like my other son, I drive him up to the school like on Tuesdays for speech therapy. I myself am doing physical therapy, like, and so that definitely like that time restriction kind of scares me with the shipping right now. And so I imagine we're going to add that on once our oldest is in kindergarten and have a little bit more of a schedule routine, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And so going along with shipping, how about your storage? How do you manage storing some of these bigger items?
Yeah, so a lot of what we did at first, like before we got started, is we really worked on clearing out our basement. We had way too much stuff in our basement. Uh,
If I had a basement, I'm sure it would be absolutely full. So I feel you.
Horrible, absolutely horrible. And then also like rearranging, just like rearranging the space. You know, like everything just gets thrown down there. So we put some shelves up, actually got things like organized, try to get some totes like condensed, you know, and just like really working on that, clearing out what we could. We did a lot that we tried to sell. A lot that we did sell, things that we tried to sell. If it didn't sell, we donated it. And so really clearing out a space. And then we also kind of like made an area in our basement where we laid out a rug and there's like a one wall that's like decent.
Is that your photo wall that I
Yes.
always see? The
Yeah.
perfectly staged wall?
Yeah, except for the lighting is horrible because our basement is
Oh,
not like finished, you know, so it's not perfect, but like my mom always says,
it
my
works.
mom, anytime I'm talking to her about something and like, oh my gosh, like I want to do this and I want to do that, and she's always like, as Mother Teresa would say, start where you are with what you have. And I'm always like, but I need to go back. And she's like, start where you are with what you have. And so really try to like, I know
That's
how hilarious.
adorable.
I know it is adorable. It is adorable, but it's like totally my mom. So, but yeah, so we really tried to like focus in on creating space. We had a ton of stuff in our dining room forever, and the kids like, don't touch the boxes. Like it's like
Yep.
they're
Lincoln
like,
just took over. I picked up a bag of Octonauts at a yard sale because Octonauts do sell it. Like this bag, I paid $1 and it's like a gallon-sized bag full of all the
yeah,
characters. He's taking it over.
oh
He's playing with them. So
yeah,
yeah, if I have toys or anything that's exciting for him, it has to be up and away or he takes over.
out of sight, out of sight. Yes, we've had
Yes.
Legos, like, and they have such great vision. It's like you hide it behind something. Yeah,
Yes.
like even today, like I got this like Lego book thing, and I was like hidden at the bottom of a bag, and Drayton was like, "What's that Lego book?" And I was like, "How did you even see this?" Like it was a
Yep.
paper bag. Yeah,
Yep.
no, they're such stinkers.
Yeah, they see and hear what they want when they want to.
Yes,
Otherwise, you tell them to look for their shoes and, oh, I can't find my shoes. They can't be anywhere. I don't know where they're at. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So true. So you did mention just this is very new. What would be your biggest takeaway that you have learned doing this style of business? Your
oh
biggest tip for
gosh.
someone who wants to start buying pallets, liquidating, what would be your tips?
Um, oh gosh. Okay. Ooh, good question.
Well,
Because
your
there's a
bookkeeping, that's obviously a big one. Just
yes,
keeping spreadsheets of calculations, and that's a big one.
yeah, and keeping track of it. So, okay, I would say like there's like two ways for me to answer this question. So the first would be like from the business perspective side of it, right? Like, so I definitely bookkeeping, having like an idea of, you know, I like we decided 60% retail was what we were going to try to go for, you know. And so we kind of like built like a worst case scenario at like 25% retail, you know. So we didn't want to spend more than that 25%. Does that make sense? So that way, at least like we could break even at 25% of retail, is what we decided. And that was like including all of our costs. Of course, that doesn't really include like hourly pay or anything, like if you're paying yourself, right? You know, but so having that was a huge focus for us, and kept us like on target. When going to like look for palettes and all of that, I would definitely, and I can like on the YouTube channel, I can post a link to this website where you can find warehouses local to you that you can purchase palettes from. And I would recommend, you know, seeing ones in person, and seeing if you can pick them up in person, just because you're going to reduce your cost by doing that, because shipping is expensive to get pallets. And so we, you know, looked near us, around us, and mostly it was Amazon, and so that's why we purchased online. So our shipping cost is going to unfortunately like eat into our profits, but you know, we still were within range. And then like my other like piece of advice for like getting started with this, and this is like a little bit broader, like not necessarily like specific to liquidation. This could be like applied to many things, but I have a hard time like, this is what we're gonna do, and like definitively coming up with like what I want to do. It's how my brain works in all situations. I have a hard time like formulating an opinion and like digging my heels in on that opinion, because my brain, like I hear and see all perspectives. And so one thing that like was a huge weight off my shoulders was when I decided how we were going to run our business and why. And so that was just a huge relief for me personally, to have that vision, because there are so many ways that you can approach the business. And for me, with being a stay-at-home mom, my kids at home, like I wanted it to be structured. So we do like drops of inventory. And I wanted it that way, so that I knew I'm going to drop this inventory, and the next few days after that, I'm probably going to have people like wanting to pick up in those windows of time. And I liked that structure of it. Yeah. And so that would be kind of like, you know, whatever you were wanting to do. There's a lot of people, like you said, they have the storefronts. We started our business on Instagram, and then added Facebook on. There's people who purchase pallets and just list on Marketplace, or they have like a Facebook group, or, I mean, there's different ways to go about it. And so just gaining clarity on how you want your business to look, that was a huge weight off my shoulders.
Yeah, I think that's a big part in any new business, is figuring out how you want to run your business, because it's your business. So however you want to do it, you can work around it. So that's definitely a huge perk of this style. I want to put a link to your Instagram in the chat as well. See if I can multitask while I do this.
That's always the worst, like trying to
Like
multitask.
the big dogs will have somebody else monitoring the chat, or have a spouse or someone doing it, but spouse is taking care of the kids, so I can't have him on here helping in the chat. So put that into the chat for you guys so you can follow her store. So if that's kind of the biggest thing to learn, what has been your favorite part so far?
Oh,
I guess sales. I mean, sales would be a big part, but
yeah, sales is a big part. Oh gosh. Okay, so my real cheesy answer,
I
would
love
be,
cheese. It's okay.
okay, it would be like Sean, my husband, is having so much fun with it.
That's
And
awesome.
so, and so that's fun to see, like, like we'll work, like we'll put pieces together, open the boxes, and it's so much fun to do that, to dig in. For me, I think the like most joy, the funnest, the part that I've had a lot of fun in, was opening the boxes and, knock on wood, we had
That item in
really,
there.
I know, we had such great luck with it. And so,
Awesome.
like, pulling it out and you're just like, oh my God, it's beautiful. Like, it's like such a good feeling that it's not broken, something that you've got to fix,
Yep.
anything like that. And then I've also just had fun. So we decided that we wanted to create an Instagram account, kind of like pair it with this business. Um, and big dream for the Instagram account is, I feel weird like saying this, but like kind of go like influencer route with it.
Hmm.
And I feel uncomfortable saying that. Like, what makes me think I can be an influencer, like I just like a
Of course
little
you
bit,
could.
I know, but I just say like a little bit of imposter syndrome on that, like, wait, hold on, ma'am. Like, who do you think you are? But it's just fun. I love sharing. We this past like year for Christmas, like I shared stuff that we were getting the kids for Christmas, and I had a lot of people that were like, "Oh my gosh, like that was awesome," or they would like
Hmm.
came back afterwards and were like, "Hey, can you share XYZ with me?" And so that was like a huge like confidence boost.
Right.
And then we
Well,
started
you're
gallery.
already an influencer in that sense. Like I have a nugget because of you.
Oh
I
my gosh,
downloaded that Lego app. I still need to play with it, but I downloaded it because of you.
forget, yeah,
Yeah, you're already influencing your current stratosphere. I don't know, your current
I
sphere
yeah,
of whatever, Instasphere. But
insta
yeah, and as
sphere, yeah.
that grows, and you can do other affiliate links to Amazon sites or become a partner with Nugget because
Yeah,
obviously I bought that because of you.
we love our nuggets. If you don't have them,
Yes.
we love ours. Yeah. I mean, and I just think it's fun to share. And I do think, I mean, me personally, I jump on, and I mean, I literally like, why do I have this cup? Because I know, right? And I even listen. I've got the like cheapo one, but why? Because someone posted it and was like, "Oh my gosh, I love
We
it," and
had to be cool. Like,
I
who could not have that cup?
obviously, I mean, I didn't need this cup to be cool, but like,
It took us up
no,
a notch. Come on.
I did take me up a few notches actually. It's my favorite color, so
Yes.
no, but I mean, like, there's so many things like people share, like in I find myself like going like listening to that, and so yeah, so we
Hmm.
kind of started Galley, and it's kind of funny because like the couple times I've had Sean like be on there, he's just like, like he's
He's
definitely like,
hilarious.
he's
Yep.
the quiet one, whereas I'm like, woo, like definitely loud, obnoxious, but I enjoy just kind of sharing life, motherhood, parenthood, just and the business. It
Yeah.
felt very vulnerable. Like, I mean, we bought the pallets, hadn't sold anything, and started Galley to share the experience and share like how it was going. And it was very
Mm.
terrifying to be like so open and vulnerable with it. But it's been fun. It's been fun. I like making
Yeah.
reels. It's fun.
Well, it's fun watching you for sure.
Yeah,
So,
same.
of course, being a mom with three handsome, handsome boys, how
Yeah.
do they affect the business, help the business, get in the way of the business? What's your struggles with juggling it all?
So, oh gosh, I was thinking about this question because I figured you were gonna ask it. And yeah, right. So like I would say like the first thing, and like as a mom, I feel like this applies to everybody. It's just like finding that time, finding this, that time where you're gonna be able to do what you need to do,
Mm.
um, and thankfully like we have the family support to like jump in and help with the kids so that we can get work done if needed. I also like I am like I'm running like our social media, our website, all of that. And so, it's like me telling Sean, like, okay, like I'm gonna need time tonight, like when you get home from work, and making sure that I'm getting that time. And he's always like very supportive in that, because
Mm-hmm.
um, as much as I would love to be able to get it done during the day, it's just hard. It's just
Right.
hard with trying to like zoom in and focus and get posts scheduled out. And then like baby starts crying. I've got to feed him. I get distracted. Where was
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, and then, and then you're starting,
And
it's
then, oh,
like,
look, dishes. I can go do those. Yep.
I know. I mean, I seriously, it's horrible. Like to focus, I have like 25,000 tabs open. In fact, like one time Sean came in and he was like, "Do you have enough tabs open?" I was like, no,
Nope.
because like,
I'll do one more. Yep.
like if I'm like, oh, actually email, like, it's just, it's ridiculous. But so I think like a struggle is definitely like finding that time. I want to get better about like planning out a little bit further than like a day or two, because we have
Mm-hmm.
battled a lot of illness. And so you'll catch on to that. Like if you were to look at when I post on Instagram and Facebook, because where there's gaps, it's like someone was sick, and
Mm-hmm.
so, and which is like totally fine. I know that's totally fine. It's not a big deal, but I would like to be better planned out. That way, someone gets sick, I know that that business side of it, the social side of it is still moving.
That's
Um,
a struggle. There's
yeah,
people that'll do videos to teach you how to do that, like batch recording, and you can record multiple videos. Just change your shirt, change your hair a little, but I can't plan that far ahead.
I
Like
don't,
that's just there's no
no,
way. Like
and
they'll
I
go
was
a
even,
month at a time.
well, and I was even thinking about like, okay, so like in the reselling business, right? Like you have inventory that's changing all the time,
Yep, I
you
can't do a
know?
what sold yesterday video for the whole month. Like I
Yeah,
until it
no,
sells, I don't have it to talk about.
exactly, and so there is that unique aspect of it where it's not something that
Absolutely.
you can completely plan out. Because there's this creator that I follow on Instagram, and that's like one thing she talks about is batch creating, but she's
Hmm.
a service based influencer.
That's
I mean,
probably one of the influencers I follow.
yeah, the
Probably
creative
one of the
bodega.
same.
Yeah.
Oh, no, different one. But
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
but
it's funny
because I,
when it's service based. Yeah, you can absolutely plan out
yeah,
your month, and you're just giving tip after tip. But
yeah.
when it's live and we're talking about things that happen in a day, I can't predict that and plan ahead. It's just not possible.
Exactly, exactly. So it's hard to, I've also had to like for myself, I've got to like write things down, or because otherwise, like I feel like my brain is just like constantly thinking of what my to-do list is, and then
Hmm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, like trying to make breakfast or lunch, or and like do all the things, but in the back of my head I'm like, okay, like so tonight I'm going to post about Galley, and this is what I'm going to post, like, and it's just it's so many tabs open in my brain. And
Yep.
so I've had to just, what, we're almost to April. So this is, a new adventure for us. And so just myself learning just to kind of shut off my brain for Galley
Hmm.
whenever I'm not able to sit down and work. And then when I have that time to sit down and work, really focus in and hone in on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys so much. Is there anything other tips or anything else you wanted to throw out to the universe?
Oh gosh. um, have fun with it. That's what I mean. It's
No, I'm
you
gonna
know,
start looking into it. And I'm in Tucson or just south of Tucson, so we don't have too many big liquidations here. They want to deal with the big dogs. We had talked to one when we first started reselling, and they were the middleman. They bought the big pallets and then they were trying to sell smaller
Mhm.
pallets to people. But I think their market was going to be the warehouse owners, the people that were going to buy 6, 7 figures worth of inventory, not me that wants to just buy a $500 pallet. Like they
Yeah,
didn't want to talk to little people. So um, I'll have to spread out to like Phoenix, the bigger areas, and see what options there are. I want to look into it. I've
yeah,
looked
yeah,
at Bulk. I think it was called BULQ.
yes,
But
yeah,
I've heard bad things about them. That a lot of people it's kind of mixed reviews, but you're getting a lot of people that say they just got a box of junk, and some people that have said they got really good stuff. And
Mhm.
if it's not labeled or manifested, you
You
don't
just
know.
don't
So
know. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the security of that manifest. Even
Yes.
if
Yeah.
it's false for some stuff, at least it's somewhat secure.
Yeah, and we used liquidation.com, and
Mm-hmm.
we also felt like their shipping cost was the most reasonable. So bulk was like they would do, like if you bought more pallets, then you
Mm-hmm.
would, get a greater discount.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, like we were also, I mean, we didn't have thousands of dollars to spend, and so like yes, if you bought 5 pallets, dang, like you're getting a good
Mm-hmm.
deal, but like we couldn't buy five
Where would
pallets.
we put 5 pallets?
Exactly, and it's like, and then also, oh, this was really funny. So you'll probably, like, if you check Galley out, like you'll see videos of it. Um, we don't have a truck. I mean, we do have a truck that doesn't run. But it needs like new, like front, like I don't know, spring shocks. I have no idea. It's like a big thing it needs. Okay. But so we literally show up at this warehouse in Blue Springs, and like we were not gonna buy an Amazon pallet. Like I didn't want to, but we saw this one and Sean was like, I think it'll be great, which I guess here's another tip. Don't take your kids with you when looking at pallets, because I was so overstimulated, and I was like,
Yep.
oh my gosh, like trying to keep the kids from like running in a warehouse, right? And going
Right.
crazy. And then I'm like, and then like Sean's like looking and he's like, oh, like I think this is a good one. And I'm just like, I cannot think. Like I was like, I'm
Right.
shutting down. And so in the moment, like we purchased this palette, which we spent like $350 on it. So not bad for an
Yeah.
Amazon palette. So you can look around and you can see some, and some places list them on Marketplace too. So on
Hmm.
Marketplace, you could look up like Amazon pallets. Sometimes they'll put like AMZ
Okay. Is that the
pallets, or
code word?
yeah, like, or Target, like they'll put like TGT, or Lowe's is like LWS, Home Depot HD, because they can't like put the name out there. But
Mm-hmm.
so just I guess like another tip, you can find some pallets on Facebook Marketplace. But um, so we just have a minivan, and Sean drives a Honda Accord. So we are moving car seats in the parking lot. They're closing in 5 minutes. We've got to unload this pallet. And so we're like throwing car seats out of the van, folding down all the seats, playing
Oh my
Tetris with all
God.
the boxes, like to get them to fit. Some of the stuff we took out of boxes because like we couldn't fit
Wow.
the
And then where
box.
did the kids go at the end?
Oh, in
Do I
between
want to hear the end
everything.
of the story?
Yeah, we left them. We were like, sorry, kids. No, no, that we threw them in Sean's car. Well, like we threw Drayton in Sean's car, and then Easton, a complete meltdown on the way home because he didn't get a ride with Daddy. And oh yeah,
Oh
I
my
mean it was
goodness.
like, but it was comical. Like I'm sitting here like laughing at us, like Sean's like trying to like get everything to
Mm-hmm.
fit. Oh, it was a hot mess, but oh, it was
It
fun.
worked.
It worked. That's right, it worked.
Oh goodness, that's hilarious. All
Yeah.
right, Tori, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun to learn about the business and learn some stuff about liquidations and some great tips for hopefully for our viewers to see and try it out for themselves. So, thank you everybody who joined us tonight, and I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. This was so exciting to get to talk, and I so appreciate this is an awesome, just a great way to like build community and give women, woo, like give women a voice to share their experiences. And I just think it's so cool that you're doing this and hosting. So thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, Tori. Thank you again, and I hope everyone has a great night. Bye.
Bye.